Hello Junior Church, I hope you have had a wonderful week this week and that you have enjoyed the sunshine and the bank holiday weekend with your families. Now, something I've noticed, apart from the fact that it's May already, wowzers, how did that happen, is that during the time that we have been in lockdown, the world around us has changed quite a lot. And I mean this in terms of creation. Today I'm wearing my rainbow t-shirt because I've seen so many rainbows in people's houses when we've been going on our family walks. But that's not the only difference. I've noticed that the leaves have come back on the trees and the flowers are coming into bloom, and the world is actually looking really bright and colourful. So I wanted to take us back to the very beginning of the Bible. And right at the very beginning of the Bible is a book called Genesis, and you might have a Bible like this at home, or you might have a storybook Bible, but whatever you've got, when you turn to the first pages of the Bible, you will find this story. And it tells us the story of creation, how God made everything in the world and around it. Now, 2 weeks ago, the sky was really clear at night, and we found out that there were some cool things that we could look for in the sky. So there was a starlight parade of satellites that were going up over the earth, and apparently there were 40 of them, but we stood outside. We saw about 7, but it was really cool to see the satellites going over. And that night as well, we also saw a shooting star, which was really cool. And it just made me think about God, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I find lockdown quite difficult. It's a real roller coaster ride, and it can make me feel quite small. But when I look up at the sky at night and I look up at the stars, that just reminds me of everything that God is and who He is and what He's done for us. And it actually made me feel a bit better. So I wanted to share this with you today because maybe you're feeling a little bit like that too. Maybe you're feeling a little bit fed up. But I thought if we had a look at creation together and you looked at the world around you, that it might help. Now, I reckon you're probably pretty familiar with this story. We have 7 days, and on each day, God does something different. He creates a brand new thing. But have you ever let's just slow it down a little bit, because actually each of these things are pretty incredible in themselves. So I thought, let's do this story again, but we're going to do some wow facts at the same time. And because creation can make you just go, wow, God is awesome. So let's start at the beginning on day 1. So day 1, God created light. Now, here's my wow fact about light. Did you know that light is very fast? In fact, it travels a lot faster than me. It travels at 186,282.4 miles per second. Wow, it took me a long time, faster than I can say that. It slows down as it hits different mediums such as glass and air and water, but it is super fast. In fact, it takes light 1.255 seconds to get from the Earth to the Moon. That's like this long, approximately. That is incredible, isn't it? It's so quick. So that is my first wow fact about light. On day 2, God created the sky. Now, do you know that the sky appears blue to us because blue light travels in shorter, smaller waves, so we see the colour as blue? And did you also know that the highest clouds that we see in the sky, well, there aren't any today because it's a lovely day, are actually about 7.5 miles away from where you're stood on Earth? So here's some homework for you. Have a little think about what is 7.5 miles away from your house, and that is about how far the highest clouds are from you. Well, it's day 3, and on day 3, God created the dry land, the plants, the trees, and also the seas. We'll come to the seas in a moment. Did you know, here's the wow fact, there are 60,000 different kinds of trees on the earth. And with the sea, water covers 70% of the Earth's surface. Did you know that there are actually mountain ranges under the sea? Yes, it is that deep. And actually, as a human race, we have only explored 5% of the oceans, so there's still so much to learn about the sea, which is really cool. Now, I couldn't do this little film clip down at the beach, so we thought we'd go for the next best thing. And as you know, I like bodyboarding, so we're gonna give this a try. Okay, let's have a go. Are we ready? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's day 4, and on day 4, God created the stars and the moon. Now, here's some wow facts about the stars and the moon. Did you know that there are more stars in the whole universe than there are if you counted every single grain of sand on every beach in the whole world? That is a lot of stars. Now, we can't see all of them at night, but if you look up at a star, you are looking at something that is 19 quadrillion miles away from Earth. That's pretty impressive. Now, the moon goes around the Earth every 27 days. It does an orbit, and you can see tonight the moon's actually really, really bright, and you can see the craters on the moon as well from where it's been blasted by asteroids. The moon is 4.5 billion years old, and that is actually, if you combine Steve's age with Jane's age, it's actually more than that. I'm going to be in so much trouble. And last really, really wow cool fact about the moon is that the gravitational pull from the moon to the Earth actually makes our tides go in and out. So those are our wow facts about the stars and the moon. Now, day 4 was a busy day because God also created the sun. Now, here's some wow facts about the sun. Now, did you know that the temperature of the sun is about 15 million degrees, a lot hotter than it's been here today? But sunlight can reach a depth of 80 metres right into the ocean. Now, the sun is classed as a star, but it's only an average sized star, but it is 110 times wider than the Earth, so it's massive. And the thing the sun does is it keeps the Earth warm enough for living things like us and the plants and the trees and everything else to grow. It's day 5, and on this day, God created the birds, the fish, and the sea creatures. So let me tell you some facts about these things that make you go, wow. Okay, so did you know that there are 30,000 different species of fish, and they are all different shapes and sizes? Now, you might have heard of a fish called tuna, but did you know that a tuna can swim up to 43 miles per hour? That is pretty fast for a fish. Now, let's talk about the birds. Here's a little bird here. Now, birds can fly, but not all of them can fly, but they can also run, jump, swim and dive. In fact, there is a bird called a peregrine falcon, which can dive at speeds of up to 242 miles per hour. Now, that is faster than a racing car. Our biggest bird on Earth is do you know what it is? It's the ostrich, and ostriches can grow till they're 9 feet tall. That is pretty big. And our smallest bird on Earth is a hummingbird. Now, hummingbirds only grow till about they're 2 inches tall, which is about the size of this little pirate that I have here. Now let's talk about sea creatures. Now, you'll know that the whale is the biggest sea creature, and they can grow up to 30 metres long. But did you know that their tongue weighs the same as an elephant? That is a big tongue. And did you also know about dolphins? Now, we're discovering more and more about these. Yes, we are. And that we know that they're very, very clever creatures. And the more people have studied them, they've realised that when dolphins are surfing the waves, they're actually doing it for fun, like you would when you're on your holidays. It's day 6, and on day 6 God created, ta-da, all of the animals, both big and small, that live on the land, including little insects like this one. Now this is a little ladybird here, but here's a fact to make you go wow. Did you know that in the world there are over 5,000 different species of ladybird? That's incredible. Do you know what the fastest animal on earth is? Yes, you might already do. It's the cheetah. The cheetah is the fastest animal on the earth. And do you know what the slowest one is? Now, you might be naming the members of your family at the moment, but it's not them. It is, in fact, a sloth. Now, a sloth is rather cute and it lives in the trees. And I found out this week that the sloth comes down from the trees once a week to do what? Do you know what? To do a poo. And then when it's done that, it goes back up the tree for the rest of the week. However, God created something else on the 6th day. Do you know what that was? That's right, it was you. And human beings are the most amazing things, and we're still learning more and more about our own bodies. Here are some facts about your bodies to make you go, wow. So, did you know that your nose can detect 1 trillion different smells? Did you know that you breathe 23,000 times per day and that your heart beats about 100,000 times per day? Did you know that nobody else, if you look at the ends of your fingers, has the same fingerprint as you? You are unique. You're a one of a kind. When babies are born, they have over 300 bones in their bodies, but adults only have 206. And this is because as we grow up, some of our bones fuse together. Our brains. Do you know that your brain produces enough electricity to power a light bulb? And in your body, all your veins, if you put all of your veins and your capillaries and your arteries all together, do you know how far they would stretch? They would actually stretch 100,000 miles, which is pretty impressive. Now, I was trying to put this into context and I looked up how much the Earth's circumference was, so how far it is to go all the way around the Earth, and this is only 24 or nearly 25,000 miles. So you've got all of those blood vessels inside your body. That is incredible. And you know what? In Psalm 139, God actually tells us, well, the psalmist tells us about how incredible our bodies are, because it says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that is something that makes me go, wow, because I just think it's amazing that all of these years later, we are still learning more and more about the human body. And on day 7, yes, God rested, which tells me that God thinks it's pretty important that we rest too, despite all the busyness of life. So my challenge for you this week is to have a think about what in creation makes you go, wow! Because there are so many incredible things out there for you to look at and discover. So what makes you go, wow? And one way that you could do that is to get a blank sheet of paper and pretend that you are the creator. And I would love you to draw or paint or make or model a picture of what makes you go wow about creation. If you don't like painting or crafty things like that, then maybe you can make it out of Lego, out of building bricks. You decide. So if you are stuck for inspiration, here are some people from our church telling us what makes them go wow about creation.
What makes me go wow about creation is the beautiful colours.
What makes me go wow about creation is the sun in the sky shining bright and the trees all around me.
What makes me go wow about creation is the stars.
What makes me go wow about creation are all the beautiful colours in the flowers that are now growing.
One thing that makes me go wow about creation is these gorgeous flowers.
Why don't you have a go? What makes you go wow about creation? It would be great if you could send through your pictures. We'd love to see what you've been doing. If you have a grown-up who's on Facebook, please get them to take a photo of your picture or model or creation and send it through to Julie, Children's Pastor. It would be awesome to see what you've been doing. And today we have 3 worship songs. We have a compilation of songs from the Little Worship Company for our little ones. And then following on today's theme, we have 2 other songs. So God of Science by Wren Collective Kids, which is absolutely brilliant, and an amazing, amazing song by Hillsong called So Will I. And this video is just awesome. Listen to the words. It really speaks into the very, very detail of creation and what God has done, and just how magnificently powerful that process was, and actually how much He loves you too. So I pray this week that you would all be blessed, and that your families would be blessed with anything that they need, with all the provision that they need. And I will see you again next week. God bless. Bye.